Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Utah After School, our Thursday nugget, our after school professional learning to go. We're so happy to have everyone, and so happy for those of you who have been joining us all throughout the winter and spring. And just as a reminder to keep yourself on mute, that would be great, just so we don't have any background noise. We are thrilled today to have one of our amazing partners, Young Entrepreneur Institute, join us to talk about some really exciting things that we have been working on. So my name is Kelly Reading, and I'm the Executive Director for the Utah After School Network. And we've been partnering with Young Entrepreneur Institute probably for the past year now. We have a grant through the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation, and they that allows us to do some entrepreneurship programming in high schools. And so we actually have a grant that we have 4 grantees around the state of Utah who are implementing high quality entrepreneurship programming in their high schools. And one of the partners we're working with as amazing curriculum is Young Entrepreneur Institute. They also host something called a pitch challenge. And that's something we want to talk with all of you today, because we think this is an amazing opportunity for you to implement into your summer programming. So without further ado, let me introduce our facilitator today. We are joined by Jesse Jones, and Jesse is enthusiastic about entrepreneurship education as a way to empower students to make positive changes in their lives and their communities, which is so needed right now. She develops and curates entrepreneurship education and is the Young Entrepreneurship Institute National Program Director. She also leads workshops for students and educators all around the country, cultivates and nurtures relationships with organizations and individuals serving youth across the nation. And prior to working at Young Entrepreneur Institute, she spent 10 years as a technology and business consultant. And she holds a Master's of Science from is it geodetic? I don't even know how to say that word.
Geodetic, yep.
Geodetic engineering from the Ohio State University. You'll have to tell us more about that. So with that, I will turn the time over to Jesse. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Thanks for the warm welcome. I also want to introduce my colleague, Kelly Bigger, who is on here with me. Kelly, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm delighted to be here with all of you today. We look forward to working with you. And I'm Kelly Bigger with Young Entrepreneurs Institute, and I am Program Manager of the National Pitch Challenge.
Thanks, Kelly. All right, well, let's get started. So here's my contact information. You can visit our website at youngentrepreneurinstitute.org, and here's my email address. We'll be sharing that later on as well, so you can capture that.
Kelly, I think, or Jesse, I think you just need to share your screen again.
Oh, thank you. Give me a minute. Sorry, I didn't realize you weren't looking at it. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Agenda. Let me go back to that slide. Okay. And didn't work. Do you see my screen? For some reason, my view is not looking the same as it usually does. Okay. So are you seeing the slide with me on it there?
Yep, we are. Thank you. Yep.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Excellent. I don't know. PowerPoint is usually goes perfectly smoothly, and it's working a little weirdly all of a sudden. Okay, good. Glad you can see that. So there's our contact information. So today we're going to talk about who we are, why we're here, why entrepreneurship, why you would want to do it in your program. We're going to talk about an exciting opportunity for you this summer, and some free curriculum and next steps. So Young Entrepreneur Institute is based in Northeast Ohio. We've been serving that region in youth entrepreneurship in the K-12 entrepreneurship space for about 15 years. And these are a couple of our offerings we have. So the Inspire Conference is a conference for educators. It occurs in November every year, and we're going to be doing a virtual summer learning institute coming up next week. So I encourage you to go out to our website to hear more about that. We've got a speaker that was with us in November, Michael Bonner, who teaches in North Carolina and is a really inspiring guy with a lot of great resources for reaching kids in a lot of different ways. So that'll be next Tuesday. You can register for free online if you want to visit our website. We also have a speakers bureau, and many of our speakers are available virtually. So although they're all Ohio based, some of them can come into your environment virtually to speak to your youth about their entrepreneurial journey, their business leaders from our community of all ages. I did not mean to click that. It's acting up for me today. Okay, another program that we offer is Young Entrepreneur Market, where students have an opportunity for a real world selling experience. Obviously that is not really moving a whole lot these days. We have a few farmers markets that are accepting students right now for selling experiences, but that's one of the other experiences we offer. In response to the current crisis, we also have a particular a clearinghouse of resources we've been putting together that are good for distance learning. That's available on our website. And I'll show you that in a minute when I show you the website. And we also are offering office hours. So every day of the week, there are one or more times available where you can just drop in and ask questions if you want to think about, let us help you think through how to integrate entrepreneurship experiences into your program. So why entrepreneurship education? I know that maybe many of you were last week came to the Nugget where you might have seen Scott Mann from Venture Lab talk about the entrepreneurial mindset. So I'm guessing some of you already have had a little bit of an introduction to why entrepreneurship is interesting and important for your students. The entrepreneurial mindset, we believe, is really essential the different skills are essential for the student's life success. So we know that not every student will become an entrepreneur, but entrepreneurship education is preparing them for giving them their life skills, critical hard and soft skills, developing that mindset. So at Young Entrepreneur Institute, we believe every child should understand and experience entrepreneurship, even though we know they won't all become entrepreneurs. These are the top 5 skills companies need most. This was a survey done by LinkedIn in 2019. So, I mean, these are all really essential to the entrepreneurial mindset. And I'm sure you are seeing in this environment how, even the essential nature of these skills is underscored even more when we see in times of crisis. I know also each one of you, anyone who's in the education space and working with kids and families, is being very entrepreneurial right now. All of these skills are being really tested for you. So whether you're already thinking about entrepreneurship in your program or what entrepreneurship means to you, you're already being very entrepreneurial, even if you've never started a business. So hats off to you for the development of all of these important skills. So whether it's developing life skills, whether it's a side hustle, whether it's making a difference in the world, these are all things that are essential for kids to be developing. So last summer we did a focus group in Ohio. So we have across the state of Ohio, we're also working with the After School Network. And so we had some really interesting findings from this survey. In this survey, we had a young intern so she was near peer in age, interviewing a lot of different teens. And so one of the things that she discovered was that there's a wide misconception of entrepreneurship. People either may think of Silicon Valley billionaires as what an entrepreneur is. They don't realize that it could be someone they know, it could be them. They think that they are limited by their age or not having a whole lot of startup money. They don't understand yet that they haven't learned yet that those are not limiting factors and can even be beneficial. If you don't have a lot to invest, you don't have a lot to lose if you aren't successful. So they are interested in learning about and experiencing entrepreneurship, and they want to meet entrepreneurs. They want to have those role models and have an understanding of who in their community and beyond are entrepreneurs. And also that it's a great fit with out of school time programs. It's experiential, as well as being a great way to connect with mentors and role models in the community. So these are things that work very well in an out of school time environment, even better sometimes than in a classroom environment, because there's more freedom and flexibility to be able to make these connections and really explore what the students' passions are. So we had a cute quote from a 12-year-old, said, "I don't mean to brag, but I'm kind of an entrepreneur." So that was a fun focus group we did. So we're going to do a little exercise now. So this is an opportunity. I don't know if any of you have experienced 2-Minute Teach or have used this in one of your programs. This has done, typically this has been done in a in-person environment. So you might wander around the room to music and stop like musical chairs, and then you're with a person, you turn to someone that you don't know in the room and you have this 2-minute conversation. And sometimes you're given a topic that you're supposed to be teaching each other about, and sometimes it's more free form. Today we're going to be talking about side hustle, and so we're adapting this exercise into an online learning environment by using the breakout room feature in Zoom. And so each of you will be paired up with one other person, and we're actually going to give you 3 minutes, because we know it's going to take a minute to kind of get used to, being in the breakout room and introducing each other. Then you get 2 minutes to talk about a side hustle. And so some of you may already have something that you do on the side to bring in some extra cash, or you might have dreamed of having something, or in this current crisis environment, there's a whole lot of different opportunities that may emerge, that you may have been seeing some things like, wow, this is really a way that I could solve a problem in my community. So if you don't already have a side hustle, so each of you in the pair will take 1 minute to talk about your side hustle, whether it's a dream, whether it's something you already do. Then once we complete the 3-minute time, you'll be brought back into the room, and we'll take some volunteers to talk about what you learned from your partner. What side hustle, some of you might hear some really inspiring things from the partner that you're in the room with. So are we ready to do some breakout rooms?
Sorry, and how long would you like them to be again?
So we'll do 3 minutes, so they have a little bit of time to get situated before they start their. You know what? Actually, let's do 4 minutes, because they'll be counting down at the end, and that can be kind of distracting. So 4 minutes. We'll do 4 minutes. So but each person take 2 minutes. Take 1 minute each to do your teaching. And
there'll be one room that has 3, just because we're odd numbers. So, okay, see you in a few minutes. So you should see a pop-up that says join. I think it says join breakout room. So go ahead and click on that, and then you should be able to join your partner in your breakout room.
So I was alone in my room, so I stepped back in.
I think you're partnered with Maria, who's in this room. So maybe the 4 of us can just.
Excellent.
And maybe I'll actually bring Amberly back into our room then. Argentina, or Tina, do you want to stay in this room, or do you want to join Amberly in another? Oh, I think Maria just went to hers.
Oh, all right.
Tina, do you want to stay in this room? Maybe I'll bring Amberly back into where I am then. So Jesse, it looks like Maria did go to her. Yeah.
Well, I don't have an option to go back into my
Let's
room.
see. Can I move you? Oh, here I go. Move to
Room 2. I was in 2.
maybe I'll move Maria back here. I don't know what this is called.
Meeting room?
Yeah.
I just saw it. Now I don't remember.
I only have access to the breakout rooms. Oh, here we go. I'll just move. Yeah, there's no other. I'll just move Amberly to a different one. I'll move her to breakout too.
My partner was having technical difficulties.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we just do it in our room here?
Yeah. So Susie, do you want to start? Do you want to, let's hear about a side hustle idea of yours.
So I used to bartend. I stopped doing that back in October, but that was my side hustle for a while. Not anymore. Now I get to stay home and actually sleep.
Right. Yeah, I bet. That's got to be late hours.
Yeah.
So are there other ideas that you have that you could turn into a side hustle, or is there a way that you could adapt that side hustle into something that would be doable in this strange new environment?
I mean, right now I'm trying to pick all the foxtails out of my dogs. If I could turn that into a side hustle, that would be great.
Seriously. I think there'd be a lot of demand.
Yeah, I've got 4 dogs and they are all just covered, and my pit bull doesn't like to have his paws touched, so he keeps running away from me.
Aww.
Yeah, they're just covered.
That'd be a good one.
Especially right now.
Yeah. I know. This is actually something that I really have been trying to focus on. Is I want to figure out a side hustle. One thing that I guess I'm okay at is like writing grants. I'm like, oh, well, maybe I could like do grant writing on the side or something for people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's I have a favorite author I'm going to talk about in a minute, but Chris Guillebeau wrote a book called Side Hustle, several books about side hustles, and I've been working through a couple of them. They're interesting ideas, ways to approach it.
Okay, looks like everyone's joining. Thanks, Susie, for sharing.
No problem.
Everyone should be joining back in just 1 second.
Zooming back. Excellent.
Yeah. Looks like we're all back, Jesse.
Very good. All right. So I'm really excited to hear about something. Does if you want to, there's a raise hands feature that you can access by clicking on participants in the bottom. And then, where is that? No, I don't see it. Not coming up on mine. Should be under more, but I don't see it. Oh, I know. I can't raise my hand because I'm a co-host. So there should be under more in your participant window. There should be an option to raise hand. Or if you can try raising your hand in your image, and we can look around and unmute you. But we'd like to hear from a couple people about the side hustles that you guys talked about. I'll be looking. I don't see anyone using the icon. Do you want to raise your hand in your image and on the screen, and we can click to unmute you? Oh, I see someone here, Maria. Let me unmute you.
Hi, Jesse. Yes, we were talking about side hustles, and one of the things that I kind of started to say at the very end is that I think a lot of us have things that could be side hustles, and I think when you really, really start to think about it, almost everybody does have something. You know, when you talk about hobbies that we have, or if you wanted to, I think many people have something they could turn into a side hustle. And I think that's kind of perhaps what your point was in doing this, if we think about it for a second. I didn't know if you wanted sharing it. I was just saying, in my life, I've evolved through many different things, you know, between having exercise groups with people in my community, to I decorate cakes. I just love to bake and decorate cakes. And so I make those for people, but, you know, never just as a job. It's just kind of more for fun. And to all the way and doing things like selling Pampered Chef or things like that, if you don't do it as a full-time job, but just a kind of a little thing on the side. So that's kind of what we talked about.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a really good point, Maria. And I think, I feel like this topic is so relevant right now. I think like the need to see your ability to bring in extra income streams is, you know, more critical than ever. And to have that, to be able to demonstrate and communicate that confidence to your youth is so important. To, you know, really anyone can do this. And a side hustle is such a great thing for kids because they've got school. They don't have time to be really doing something full time. But if they're smart about it and have, you know, we give them the right guidance, they can find ways to, you know, explore that entrepreneurship experience while bringing in an extra income stream and not invest a whole lot of capital in starting up and not have to invest a huge amount of time of their own. So excellent. Anyone else? Does anyone else want to talk about their experience?
Me.
See someone else.
It looks like Evelyn. Evelyn wants to.
Yeah. Do you listen to me?
Yeah, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I speak Spanish, ¿verdad? I'm going to try, but for me, for have an extra money, I like to make in my home acrylic nails. I always try to make it, and the other thing I sell is color strip. It's for nails too. That's the thing I have extra money when in this time, you know, for the pandemic. It's an easy job for me, and I like it. It's my hobby.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. So good example. Do we have one more?
I can go, Jesse, or I think.
Excellent, Chaz. Yes, please.
So I was with Kirsa, and we talked about a lot of great things. So she does stuff with music, and we were just talking more about day-to-day things that we do. We were talking about, you know, how she takes care of her grandpa's animals and, you know, weeding the garden. And I just think how often, you know, it's like, oh, I hate weeding. And I know so many other people do. How easy would it be just to have like a weeding business? But I think a lot of it with these side hustles comes down to desire, really, too, and just have that entrepreneur spirit. Just I'm gonna go after it. I think that's one thing we all kind of struggle with is just like, oh, I got these other things, I have other stuff going on, but really just getting excited. I was like, hey, I can do this, or if that guy can do it, I can totally do it. So just having that mentality as well. But yeah, we had some good conversations for sure.
Yeah, those are great points, Chaz. Thank you. So a resource that might help with both the inspiration and Kelly is holding it up right now and she typed the title into the chat. It's 100 Side Hustles by Chris Guillebeau. He's a really interesting motivational speaker, and he's written several books like how-to guides about starting your side hustle. He has a novel that he just wrote that's about a guy who learns how to start a side hustle that would be good reading for high school students. It's a very engaging story. I just finished it. But the 100 Side Hustles is like an illustrated encyclopedia of side hustles for kids. And it's, you know, I think this would work with your elementary school kids all the way up to adults. And there are student businesses in there as well. So like each page they're showcasing a different side hustle. It's a wide range of different ideas. So that's a really fun resource that we've used with students. All right, so let me jump back into the PowerPoint here. Oops, hold on. Share my screen so you can see it too. All right. So So going back to entrepreneurship and why you'd want to do it, there are a lot of benefits to your program. These are fun and easy, fun experiences for the kids, easy to implement. The staff and students enjoy them. It's very engaging. We get comments back like it increases attendance and engagement during programs. And of course, it also supports college and career readiness efforts, which it's great. And I think we're always looking for those opportunities for our kids. So other benefits are it's an opportunity to, we think of this as the ecosystem. So, you know, who are all the different stakeholders in your community? It's a great way to connect. So you can connect with local businesses and organizations through, you know, mentorship, judging contests, being customers of the students. It's a great way to support program sustainability in terms of building those connections within the community, and to connect to families in a new way. We've found this, you know, all various different kinds of entrepreneurship experiences give you an opportunity to connect with your families in a way you maybe hadn't been able to before. So it can be really fun for the whole family to get involved in these. So ecosystem building, like showcasing your program if you were to have either a live pitch challenge, if you're able to do that in this environment, or you can do a video event where the kids are either pitching live or you're showing the videos of them, and engaging with your other resources. Also, connecting students with community resources is a great benefit of, you know, I think of this as retention. You know, here in Cleveland, this is the Rust Belt. A lot of families, you know, they want to kind of escape from Cleveland. Like the kids, it's an accomplishment to get out of Cleveland, to get a better job somewhere. We want to get them connected and show we have a really vibrant entrepreneurship ecosystem in Cleveland and in Northeast Ohio. And so this is a way to get the kids connected with resources in their community that makes it much more likely that they can stay and be successful in where they grew up, and so we don't lose those best and brightest and opportunities for everyone. So we did a pilot last summer with the pitch contest. Of course, it was a little bit different environment back then when everybody was meeting in person. And I know some of you may have the benefit of being able to meet in person this summer, but the students, these are some of the things that were really successful about the summer pilot. So the students liked competing for prizes. It increased program attendance. We talked about that. Learning how the language skills are really important. So the kids, you know, once they connect a passion to their idea and their business, understand that they could be making this business pitch. They don't even, you know, it's an excellent reinforcement for language arts skills without even, you know, realizing they're in the process of learning. Also understanding that the independence involved can be really empowering for the kids. So I wanted to show you a couple of videos from, in Northeast Ohio, we run a pitch challenge every year. We run it as a video contest, so the kids enter videos. So we weren't really affected as much. The students were able to learn in the first part of the year and enter their videos. And so we had about 1,700 students enter the contest, K through 12. And I want to show you a couple examples of their videos. I can get my screen. Right. So this is our website I mentioned, and you can see, just I'll quickly say, on the top here is the banner where you can click for links to resources for your virtual classroom, as well as to our office hours.
Hey, Jessie,
yeah.
Sorry, you might need to switch screens because we're still looking at your PowerPoint.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There we go. You can see it now? Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so up here is the link to our resources and for our office hours. So this is the homepage for our pitch challenge, and we have all of our winners posted here. So I encourage you to come back and look at these later. You can show these to your kids. It can be great inspiration and a lot of fun. So I'm going to play you just to demonstrate that this is how this can work for all ages. I'm going to show you one of our K-4 winners. Jackson is in 3rd grade, and we're going to see his video.
Wish you could play a 2-on-2 basketball game, but the neighbors are out of town? Are you a parent or a babysitter and video games are driving you nuts? That's why I developed Pickup Game. Pickup Game is an app that allows you to set up a game anytime, anywhere. Anyone can host a pickup game by listing the time, listing a location, setting up an age range, and most importantly, choosing which game you want to play. So when you go out of town, you'll never have to be friendless or bored again, because there's a whole group of new friends just waiting for you to show up at their pickup game. You can also get notifications for when pickup games has been created in your area. Oh, looks like I've just been invited to play a pickup game at the park. Gotta go.
Oh, he's so darling. And so then I'll also show you an older example so you can see one of our high school winners, Dylan. And an interesting thing about Dylan's idea is he was not even, he submitted this before the whole pandemic thing hit. And so it's a great idea.
Have you ever experienced a struggle with getting that schoolwork done because you just don't quite have that Wi-Fi access? Or maybe just experienced a struggle with trying to go to the library and fill out an essay paper to keep up with everyone else in the class. We've all been through it. My name is Dylan West, and I've partnered and created a company called Scholarly Connections. With Scholarly Connections, it gives free, accessible Wi-Fi to everyone in the city of Akron. And not only does this affect scholars in the city of Akron, but it brings more businesses to the community. At Scholarly Connections, we understand that this is bigger than Wi-Fi. This connects communities and families, and this connects the city of Akron as a whole. If you would love to be a part of this change, all you have to do is click the link in the description. It'll surely change the world someday, and we believe that we can give Akron and the people of Akron Wi-Fi for all, free of no charge, because education and connecting families should never be charged. Thank you for supporting us, and click the link in the description. Thanks for having me.
He's great. I love that. So it's wonderful to see what the kids can come up with. A lot of fun. So I will jump back over to PowerPoint now. All right. So we want to talk about the Utah After School Network Statewide Pitch Contest. So this is available to all of you in your programs. The portal is already open for accepting entries, and it will stay open through July 31st. Youth of all ages, all your youth can be competing for fun prizes. And the video, the guideline is that the pitch should be up to 90 seconds long. So obviously the younger students might be more in the 30-second range. Your older students may be using something longer. There will be a whole page of information soon, but right now you can already enter the portal using the bit.ly shortened link shown here on this slide, and it'll be on the next slide as well. We would like to encourage participants to create an idea that solves a problem in their community. So, business ideas are wide-ranging, but especially right now in these crisis times, it's likely that the youth are really seeing a lot of different ways that they could solve problems in their community. And one of the exciting things about this activity is that even at the high school level, often students have never thought of themselves as a problem solver. And so this gives them empowerment to think of themselves as a problem solver, as well as share their voice. Those are really important outcomes for participation in a contest like this. And so the videos will be judged in 3 age categories, and they're based on this past school year because we wanted to be able to enable this year's high school students to, this year's high school seniors to still participate. So the grades are K-4, 5 to 8, and 9 through 12. And we welcome you to hold a mini contest in your program, and we have lots of supports available for you if you wanted to have just your youth compete with each other. But we really encourage you to have students, every one of your youth this summer, create a video and enter it into the statewide contest. And so we've got some free curriculum for you. At Young Entrepreneur Institute, we offer curriculum, and we're going to go through that. But I want you to know that any approach that you want to use, for example, Venture Lab, who you heard from last week, also has a more in-depth training that's available for students to get them ready for a pitch contest. You could be pulling it out of a STEM program, and they're doing some presentations. So we don't really care how the students are prepared. We just want them to have the opportunity to experience this. So if you go to our website, and Kelly can put the link in the chat for how to get to the site where you can register. This is a free resource. There are 3 guides. The one that you will really want to be focusing on is how to teach a pitch challenge. The hosting is more for an organization like UAN. So the teaching a pitch challenge has all of the activities in it that you need to be able to prepare your youth for this. The toolkit as a whole, after you register for it, you'll get access to a Google Drive that includes instructions, worksheets, videos. It's got videos both for per activity, as well as sample videos, good and bad videos. It's got planning tools and everything that you need to be effective. So this is a snapshot of what it looks like. The folder looks like. And this is the outline for the curriculum. So there are 5 lessons. The first 3 are where the students are coming up with the idea and creating the pitch. Then they've got 1 to practice, and then 1 for filming. Or you may also use this lesson for your internal contest if you're doing one. And we always encourage reflection at the end as well. And we offer regularly scheduled interactive webinars that are available. Kelly, do you want to tell about that?
Absolutely. Yes, we have upcoming ones the next 2 weeks on Thursday, June 11th from 1 to 1:30, and that's Eastern Standard Time. So back up a few hours. And then also on Wednesday, June 17th from 10 to 11 o'clock. And Jesse and I are always available. If those webinars don't happen to work for you, feel free to shoot us an email, and we're happy to jump on Zoom and go over anything you wish.
Thanks, Kelly. So we put this together to be pretty self-explanatory. So it's not necessary to receive any additional training to use it, but we're always available to help boost confidence or share some best practices. So in the first lesson, they're doing problem identification. The second is associating that with an opportunity. And we separate those from each other for design thinking purposes. So in design thinking, students will find more creative solutions if they don't think about the solution and the problem at the same time. And so, I mean, this is what is used. It's taught at the Stanford Design School, and a lot of businesses do it this way. It's a great way to really kickstart your creativity. And then in the third lesson, they're putting all the structure around their pitch. So when you come to the webinars, we can go through specifically what the exercises are. We'll do one more warm-up exercise out of here, but each of the lessons starts with a warm-up, has a main event, and then we also encourage practicing some pitching each time you get together with the students. So I'd like to talk a little bit about distance learning. We built this as a way to make this into a distance learning, and as you know, this was originally written for live and in-person activities. And so we wanted to get an idea of what is going on in your program this summer. So we put together a poll, and we'd like you to answer. There are 4 answers on the poll you can choose. One is virtual, one is blended, and one is in person. There's also one that's combination, and combination means maybe you have more than one program and they're meeting in different ways. You may be planning for virtual, but you think it's possible there will be some in-person, so it might become blended. So so that's, combination is that kind of that overflow category if you're not really sure, or you've got a couple things going on. So we'll give you a couple minutes to fill out the poll. A lot of virtual. I'm not surprised to see that. All right, we'll give you just a little bit more time here. Anyone else want to weigh in on how you're meeting this summer? Well, it's nice to see we've got one one person responding that got blended, so we might see a little bit of in person, but looks like mostly virtually. So do you want to share the results, Kelly?
And it sounds like there's some people or some programs who aren't sure yet.
Yeah.
Well. So that was a suggestion, maybe to add that to the poll. So just kind of keep that as a caveat. So that was a great suggestion.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it is. I mean, even we're talking about summer. I mean, summer learning is starting for some places next week, and we still don't know. And it's the same here in Ohio. I think we've had more cases, I think, than Utah has had, but it's so much up in the air, so it makes it difficult to plan. All right. I need to get the. There we go. Okay. All of the activities that we are offering in the toolkit can be adapted to distance learning. We've had programs successfully implement this whole program remotely. So if you take a look through it, once you get access to the materials and you have some questions about adapting that, we can talk about that on our webinar with you. Some of the things, there are some worksheets in there. You may be able to use the whiteboard feature on your screen if you're able to do like real-time virtual learning. And we have videos, a lot of videos available that you can use for teaching asynchronously if that's the way. And there will be other opportunities to enrich the program through the summer that we'll be making available to you. So there are a lot of different ways that we can spice it up and keep it interesting for the kids. And one of the things that's really powerful about this opportunity as a distance learning activity for the kids is that it's giving them a chance to demonstrate that they've been engaged and learned. And so, not all of our activities have that. And so it's got a really interactive aspect to it. And for the kids to be connecting with their passion, again, like I said before, being able to think of what those things are was it Evelyn or Maria was saying, everybody's got these strengths. Everybody has strengths that they could turn into a business idea. And so to start to connect with that is really exciting for the kids. Does anyone here have any thoughts or ideas about, either best practices, things that worked that you think might be something you could suggest to other programs that might help in this kind of environment, or specific questions about something that you think might be a challenge for your program? Go ahead and type it in the chat box if there's anything anything like that. So I'm going to move along and we'll come back to those. We're just about done with the presentation part of this, and we'll have a chance to open it up for some Q&A. So we can get back to that. So we want to do one more exercise now. This is the first warm-up exercise in the workbook, and this helps the kids. As I mentioned, each exercise, each lesson has a warm-up exercise, and the point of that is to get the kids to put on their creativity hat, basically. And it'll be really interesting when you do this with your kids. If you've ever done anything with them around creativity, innovation, design thinking, they may just jump right in, have the ideas coming fast, or if this is unfamiliar territory for them, it might be a real struggle to do this exercise. And so, you know, you can experience what that feeling is like for them. So, so I want you to think about shoes. And so we wear shoes for a bunch of different reasons. It might be to enhance performance. It might be protect our feet, keep them warm, keep them dry. But you know, all of those uses are very much around what a shoe is intended for. So I'd like you to use the chat window now we're gonna call out different ideas. What things could you do with a shoe? And you know, we've got a picture here of some sneakers, but it could be any kind of shoe. So use your imagination and think of all kinds of, if you're not gonna wear the shoe or use it for one of its intended performance uses, what would you use it for? So go ahead and start typing those in. Put some art on it. Great. A planter. That's one of my favorites. Art, storage, gardening, the laces. Yeah, taking the shoe apart and using the different pieces. Smashing bugs, fly swatter. Excellent. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You guys are great. Look at all these. So I put 10 in parentheses. I'd love to get some more. So this is great. Hold pencils, piggy bank, doorstop. Musical instrument, that's great. It's so fun. A mask. It's so funny. I love doing that every time I've done this dozens and dozens of times with all different ages of kids, and keep them coming if you've got more ideas, and adults, and every time I do it, there's something new. No one's ever said musical instrument before. That's great. So this can be a really fun way to kind of break the ice in the room. And let's see how we're doing on time here. We've got some time. So another technique that you can use for this, which is actually, now that this is doesn't work as well for distance learning, but using brain writing, and the technique is described in the workbook, but the kids will write down a few things and pass around their sheet. Using the chat window works pretty well, but the goal is really to try to, brain writing is to get people, the shyer people in the classroom, to share. And so if you have some people that are less likely to shout out their idea, they're more likely to, you know, do it if they're able to write it down. I've seen with working with groups of people with the chat, people are much more likely to speak up in the chat maybe than they would have been to like raise their hand or speak. So it accomplishes some of the brain writing techniques. But so that's one of our fun warm-up exercises, and you can try this again throughout the period that you're doing this project. You can try it with uses for a plastic bag, uses for a face mask. You know, find different kinds of things that you could try and watch the kids' creativity grow over time. All right, so your next steps for the pitch contest are, you can go out to our website and register for the free toolkit. You can have any of your guides, frontline staff be attending the webinar training if that would be helpful, and then get started with your youth and have fun. So I'd like to take this time now to talk a little bit about the challenge, questions, any questions you have for us or for the UAN team around entering your kids in the challenge, or around teaching the pitch or entrepreneurship, any of those topics. And on the next slide, is a QR code that you can use to complete an exit survey. So you can use that QR code, and we'll also be pasting the URL into the chat window for you. So I'll leave this up for a minute. You can be using your raise hand feature or typing into the chat if you've got any questions for us. Oh, I see now high-heeled shoe is a tool. That's awesome. And a pencil cup. We've got some other good ideas there.
Jesse, maybe as people think of some questions, this is the first time that UAN has hosted any kind of challenge like this. So we're really excited and really counting on the programs all throughout the state to participate. We think it's such a great way to engage your kids in the virtual environment, in a blended environment, in an in-person environment, and it's free curriculum. we are working with an intern, and she's on this call. Her name's Kirsa Rawson, and she is working on finding judges for this contest as well as prizes. So if you go to that bit.ly link, you can find all the information there. The kids, register themselves, and you can even create a fake, I guess you could kind of create an account just so you could walk through it too. But we think this is going to be a really, really cool opportunity. We'd love to get, at least 100 entries for our first time. I think would be phenomenal. So we're really excited, and thank you, Jesse and Kelly, for being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kelly. And Kelly Bigger put our contact information there in the chat so that you can reach out to us. So anyone got some questions? Looking for raised hands. So we're really looking forward to hearing all of your youth ideas. We've been seeing the results come in from Michigan, from Missouri. We've had some challenges that wrapped up this spring, and it's just so fun to see the kids' ideas. One other thing I'll say, the students do not need, there's no requirement for them to be starting the business. So, if they don't, it can be an idea that they wouldn't be able to, for example, Dylan's business of the Wi-Fi connectedness around the city. He certainly could pursue that and attempt to get that started in his city, but he doesn't have to. So it doesn't have to be something that they can start. And then also, however, if they do want to start their business, there's some opportunities that we have available through Venture Lab. OtterBox has an opportunity where the students can apply to get some startup money. So they can get, I think in both cases, it's up to $500 of startup money if they decide they do want to pursue it. So those opportunities are out there for your students that want to take the next step. And we have curriculum, mentor opportunity. We have lots of support available for those students that want to go to the next level. But for the contest, they're not required to. Excellent. Well, we're very excited to work with you guys. And if you have any questions, let the YEI team know, let the UAN team know. We're really excited to work with you and watch the creativity come in. So thank you. I'll turn it back over to Kelly Riding in case you have any closing remarks you'd like to make.
Yeah, I just want to thank Jesse and Kelly. Thanks so much for joining us today. And just to echo what you said, that we are really excited to see what your youth come up with. They are super creative, and like I said, this is our first time doing this kind of competition. So we're in this together and learning together, and we have great technical assistance experts with Jesse and Kelly and Scott as well, who can answer any questions that you guys have. So just as a reminder to fill out the survey, you can use, Angel put the link in here again if you weren't able to get the QR code. That way you get your certificate. Were there any resources that you guys wanted to put into that file folder? Or maybe just the links that we shared today?
We'll make the presentation available, okay. And the links are available in the chat that they can, or they're also there in the presentation that they can access the website with all of the videos, and then also the link to register for the free toolkit.
Okay, awesome. And then next week we hope you join it, or it's in 2 weeks. So from now on during the summer, at least for June and July, our nuggets will be every other Thursday at noon. So in 2 weeks, we'll be here again. And one of my team members, Amberly, do you mind jumping in, telling us who's going to be on that Thursday?
Yeah, so we have a presentation from, oh my gosh, let me think.
Power Up.
Power Up, yes. So Power Up is going to be talking with us about incorporating academics into physical activity, and vice versa. So spelling out letters with your body, just how to be physically active, either in person or virtually, and incorporating academics into that. So we're really excited about that one.
Well, thanks so much again. Thanks for your time. We really appreciate you joining us today. And we're available as well if you have any questions as you get started. and we're excited to see what your youth come up with. So thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.